Ladies and gentlemen, my man, Tracy Mosley.
Thank you, thank you. Good evening, everyone. As the Director of Youth Services for the Urban League of Greater Atlanta, I must tell you that my job is the most rewarding job anybody could ever have. Because I get to meet men and women who have the grit, the intelligence, and the passion to overcome obstacles and succeed against all odds. Our youth services and reentry programs have supported and guided talent like the 4 young men that you'll see in the video you're about to see. The programs they represent: Youth Build, Project Ready, Training to Work, and the Urban Youth Empowerment Program, all focus on raising the educational attainment, preparation for college and careers, and in high-demand fields, sustainable employment, leadership, and community service. Workforce development and youth development are the core components of the mission to help each individual achieve his or her highest potential. I know you will be moved by their stories. Please draw your attention to the video screens.
Urban League of Greater Atlanta.
The Urban League of Greater Atlanta strives to help people reach their full potential, develop their talents, and pursue their dreams for success. These young men of empowerment and distinction are working through Urban League programs to stay firm on pathways to enrich their lives and contribute positively to their families and community. Maceo Tompkins embodies the focus and drive of the young people in our Urban Youth Empowerment Program that helps participants earn post-secondary credentials, secure sustainable employment, move on to higher education, or training to build careers.
I was employed already with the city of Atlanta. I worked in sanitation. I had a black cloud over my head at that point in time in my life. I was just thinking like, it got to be more to life than this. I always felt like as a young person, you know, I felt like you were supposed to see the world as a place of opportunity. You're supposed to look at the world and feel like you can go out and become something. I don't have the luxury of my parents, you know, providing for me financially. It's like if I don't work, I don't have nowhere to stay. I don't eat. None of that go on if I don't work. I was really just like big on trying to get another job because I knew if I didn't get another job, I was gonna be back in the streets. The Urban League really provided a window of opportunity for me. You know, Ms. Nancy, she introduced me to some of her colleagues at the Urban League. And we talked a little bit about, you know, what I needed, you know, to help me go a little bit further. And I was just letting them know that I needed a new environment, new employment, you know, a platform that would allow me to reach my fullest potential. One day I got that call saying that, you know, you got the position in the watershed management, Department of Watershed Management. And I was super happy. I hopped out the truck because I was at work when they gave me the call, so I hopped out the truck and I'm just jumping around. I was so happy just to, you know, felt like I was free again. You know? And I think it's important for me to be up here sharing my testimony with the world. For other kids who come from backgrounds like mine, you know, to show them that someone that you can relate to has been through this process and been successful when it comes to this process.
Devontae Jordan's leadership skills and single-minded focus have contributed to his success in our Youth Build program that helps participants earn a GED and obtain construction certification and jobs that will lead to sustainable, well-paying positions.
My life was like a revolving door. I kept seeing the same thing, and I just simply got tired. I was in and out of jail, kept getting in trouble, couldn't stay in school. I tried to get my GED 3 years in a row. I went twice a week, and that was it. When the Urban League came with the Youth Build program, it was more of an incentive because it offered my GED and a construction certification as well, which was something I was really interested in. So my focus was to get through the program, but I'm thinking years down the line, so that I can make a better life for myself. One of the best practices that the Youth Build program had to offer me was the affirmation. And with the affirmation was a set of principles. The first principle was, I will strive to live up to my fullest potential and show the world my greatness. And the second principle, I will not give in to negative thoughts or behaviors that will sabotage my success. A reason why I think these affirmations help me is because it's a set of principles, like I said. And when you live your life based upon principle, then you can never go wrong. I currently have a fiance who I soon to get married. She's very proud of me. She's always pushed me behind this. I'm back in school now, currently at Atlanta Technical College for construction management. So this program has really pushed me, and I believe it has helped me find my passion, but not only my passion, my purpose in life.
Amias Mapson represents our high school students. Amias Mapson has proven his commitment to his future by being a model student in our Project Ready College and Career Prep program at Benjamin E. Mays High School.
I found out about Project Ready through friends that recommended me. I went to the meeting and we did a bunch of stuff that I enjoy, and it was just over the summer, so I decided to stick with it and see what I could get out of it. One thing they offered was college tours. Those are good for college exposure. The other thing were the banquets. Those are good for meeting different people throughout the Urban League program. They're giving us tutors, which I really need, so that's very helpful, especially for high school students, since it is a lot of trouble for most high schoolers to get. I was a little shaky on if I wanted to go to college, but since they gave me college exposure, I want to actually go there and be a part of the college life, since I've seen what it was and how they go about going to it. They helped me research the colleges I want to go to, so I know exactly what I need to do and how to do it, and they helped me come up with a plan on how to execute it.
Frank Melvey represents his fellow participants who are making successful transitions through our Training to Work Adult Re-Entry program that teaches life skills, occupational skills credentialing, and on opening doors to education, employment, and careers.
When I came out of prison, I already had a plan, and my plan was to get my CDL. Everybody I met that assisted me from the Urban League motivated me. They was like, almost like God said, everybody said something or did something that guaranteed me that I was on the right path. Now, you know, I got my commercial driver's license. First I went over the road, but I wanted to be home. I got my kids. My daughter just came from California. She's living with me here in Georgia. I'm married, I got a wife, and you know, I don't really want to be on the road. I'm going 3 weeks out of the month over the road. So I talked to Miss White, and she pulled some strings for me and told me about a company, which was Ready Mix USA. I couldn't have done this without the Urban League, at least not at this speed. I've been home 10 months. I'm coming home from 10 years. This 10 months is a very fast transition time. I owe it all to the Urban League. I mean, they was a godsend.
We are extremely proud to include these 4 young men among our honorees. They validate the work of the Urban League of Greater Atlanta and its programs of success that empower our community.
Ms. Nancy Flake Johnson with Tracy Mosley to present the awards to these outstanding young men who are making all of us proud. Give it up again for everybody, y'all.
Wow. Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, we present to you our Young Men of Empowerment and Distinction for 2016. Awesome. It is our honor to recognize your accomplishments, growth, and know that the Urban League will always be here to support you throughout your lives.
I would like to thank and give the glory to God. Then secondly, I would like to thank my beautiful wife and my mother for supporting me and being the driving force behind my life. I can go on for hours about how the Urban League has helped me, and it would take all night because if you've seen the video. But let's just real briefly, as I mentioned in the statement, the affirmation that the Urban League gave me. And I just again want to recite the first principle was I will strive to live up to my fullest potential and show the world my greatness. And because of that principle, I strive every day with every ounce of me to live up to what that affirmation has told me every single day. So I want to thank the Urban League of Greater Atlanta for the opportunity, and just, it's an honor. So thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations, Amias.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. I would like to thank the Urban League for the award that I'm receiving tonight. I would like to say that without Project Ready, I was a little bit confused as to what my career path was going to be and what colleges I wanted to choose. So Program Ready, to me, it is a program that helps students build upon skills that they would like to develop and go into in the future. And I would like to thank my mom, Urban League, Mr. Smith, Miss Joy, and everyone else at Project Ready that has supported me. And to me, Urban League is something that students can go to. It's like a big puzzle. Students can come here, get the little pieces that they want, and it goes to their bigger picture. So Urban League is, Urban League is an opportunity. It is a chance. It's a future for students like me that want to go out there and do something greater with their life. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Well, I gotta tell you, it's an honor to be considered a man of distinction. I mean, coming out of my situation. That's why I'm extremely grateful to the Urban League, because they gave me an opportunity that a lot of people don't have. You know, a lot of people come from my situation, they don't really get a second chance, and they find themselves looking, you know, to go back the same direction. That wasn't an option for me, but the Urban League made sure that it wasn't an option for me. And I had never heard of the Urban League, so it was, you know, it was something big. But, you know, I had my mindset on how they was gonna be, but it turned out they wasn't judgmental, and they was genuinely interested in my growth and my development, you know, and transition back into society. And I appreciate that, you know, and I'm very grateful, so, you know. And I appreciate everything the Urban League did, but I got special thanks for certain people. I don't know if they're here tonight, you know, but Rashid Brown, Thomas Cotton, Park Sims, and last but not least, because she, through the whole process, was there, martyr cards, checking on me, helped me get a job, Miss Ebony White.
Yes.
Okay? Thank you.
And last but not least, Maceo Tompkins.
Maceo.
Good evening, everyone. I want to start off by saying thank you to the Urban League as a collective for helping me transition from my previous place of employment to where I am now, which is a construction maintenance worker with the City of Atlanta, Department of Watershed Management. Through the Urban League, I now feel that I've regained my peace of mind, and overall, I just genuinely feel more focused. But what I want to do here today is give you all a little more background about myself, to give you all a more holistic view of who I am and what role the Urban League has played in my journey. I grew up in a neighborhood not too far from here in a community called English Avenue. Some of you may know it as the Bluff. If you know anything about this community, you know why it's important for kids from these type of communities to connect to organizations like the Urban League. Because when they do, their chances of becoming productive people increases significantly. A year or two ago, I seen a teacher of mine that taught me back in high school, and he made a statement to me. He said, "I thought you would be one of them kids that got caught up." I laughed a little, and I politely shook his hands and looked him in his eyes and said, "No, you got the wrong guy." The crazy thing about that is, a lot of people felt that way about me. But what they didn't understand was that all I needed was a chance. The Urban League was that chance. I never did anything intentionally to make people feel that way about me. It was just my circumstances at the time. When people ask me what made me change my outlook on life, I always tell them books. Books took me places my community could not take me. A chance, coupled with a few books, allowed me to do a whole 180 and become the first boy out of my grandmother's children and grandchildren to graduate from high school. I'm so passionate about succeeding because I really come from the bottom. I remember the shotgun house on Proctor Street down in the Bluff that me, my grandmother, my mother, my dad, my brothers, and all my uncles crammed up in. I remember standing on the corner of Joseph V. Lowry, also known as Ashby Street, and Martin Luther King Jr. Drive in the freezing cold with my homeboys because we was all we had. I'm not saying I'm the only one that's been through things, but I don't ever want to feel that pain again. When people, I'm not saying I'm sorry.
Take your time.
Every move I make from here on forth is to ensure that the next generation of my family is born into this world with a more promising platform to stand on. I think it's important for me to be up here sharing my testimony today to encourage the young people after me to keep taking advantage of the opportunity that the Urban League has to offer. And to also encourage people that support organizations like the Urban League that does this type of work to keep supporting them because we need it. And last but not least, I want to give a special thank you to Ms. Vaughn. I think she's somewhere to the left over there. She emailed me, she texted me, she called me, and she even counseled me at times. And I just want to let her know that I'm deeply appreciative of that. And again, thank you all for having me today.
So, I'm going to tell you a brief story about Mayor Kasim Reed that you may not know. I first met Mayor Reed when he was a student at Howard University, our alma mater. I was the director of the Small Business Development Center and a professor at the School of Business. We met because one of the things we started was to give Howard students the opportunity to meet entrepreneurs. And so we started the Salute to Blacks in Business Conference. Well, one day, Mayor Reed showed up at my office. I'd never met him, of course. And he was dead set on serving as one of the escorts for one of our special honorees. As a native of Atlanta, Reed knew that most of the time the escorts were School of Business students. But he had done his homework, and he had found out that Mr. Herman Russell was one of our honorees. So he put his passion and persuasiveness to work way back then in high gear. And he made his case to me why he should be the one to escort Mr. Russell that day. During his escort experience, he parlayed it into an internship with the H.J. Russell Construction Company. And his career really began in motion from there. So I must admit that I had to be reminded of that encounter. And we ran into each other at Mr. Russell's wake, where the mayor told that story. And I just want you to know that when I thought back, I remembered you. I really did, because he was so serious and so persuasive back then. So when I saw the look in his eyes and I said yes, he was just so ecstatic and eager. I take great pride in the fact that he recalls that moment, that it played a role in his success, and I'm just thankful that that little bit of me is a part of you. So this is really, really special. Come on up here. So come on up here. So fast forward.
Oh, man.
Fast forward, many, many years later, I come to Atlanta as the president of the Urban League of Greater Atlanta. And after a few years, we had one of those awesome opportunities. We had been awarded $780,000 by the federal government to work to really launch our Urban Youth Empowerment Program that you saw right there, right? So I went to the mayor, though, and I said, I have a problem. I've got a good problem. I've got money to pay for people, for books, for social workers to support these young people. And these are all City of Atlanta youth targeted for the most in need neighborhoods. I said, but I've got one problem. I have no place to operate this program. And see, these are some of the things that people never know about. But he told me, no problem, we've got you. And we went to work, he put Katrina Taylor Parks on it, and she's a serious sister. And we went around, and just so you know, a couple of people tried to steer us some kind of janky places that the city owned, and Katrina said, this is not what the mayor has in mind. So he landed us at Watershed Management, along with the city council. And that's one of the reasons Maceo, young Maceo, works for the Watershed Management Department today. So this is our opportunity to thank you before you leave office and say, I really appreciate you. All right? Thank you, man.
Wow. Wow. Woo. I tell you what, it's a good thing when I blush, people can't tell. What I'm saying, this is quite a moment. I remember when Nancy Flake Johnson came into my office to talk about that, and I said, you know what, we're going to do more than make sure that the Urban League for Greater Atlanta just gets along. The office space that they occupy is actually the former publisher of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution's office space. So we didn't just tuck them somewhere, we tucked them in the best space that we had available in 72 Marietta Street. And I don't know where's Maceo? I see him over there at the table. Maceo, I'm telling you, brother, tonight is your lucky night. Because I want you to come by my office on Tuesday after 5. We're going to create a program for you, young man. The way the folks did for me. I'm not Herman Russell, but I met HJ when I was about your age, and he helped my life move in the direction that it is. So if you'll allow me, you come by, I'm going to check on you. And I think that your career is going to take off, because that's what nights like tonight are all about. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, I need it tonight. I came in here dragging a little bit after last Tuesday. I've been dragging a little bit. And then I came in here and I saw these remarkable young men, David, get up on this stage. And you know, President Becker and Eduardo and Raphael and myself, we're some pretty special guys. But we were not the headliners tonight. The headliners tonight were those young men standing right there, and that is exactly. Reverend Dr. C.T. Vivian says a quote which I have taken to my heart. He said that every achievement demands an even greater achievement. That's really the essence of achievement. It is supposed to propel you forward. The reason that tonight means so much to me is that I know that the Urban League is needed now more than ever. And before I continue, I do want to talk about somebody that's helped me get to where I am. And I'm going to borrow a line from our 44th president that I don't think can be improved upon. My wife, Sarah Elizabeth Reed, is here tonight. And the president used the line that every man who's married in America needs to copyright and use himself. She is not my equal, she is my superior. Ladies and gentlemen, Sarah Elizabeth, will you please stand up and let everybody see you? But when I thought about tonight's dinner, this is what I thought about you all and why I'm so excited. There was a woman who I met at a train station. And so I was campaigning for somebody else, and she walked up to me and she was visibly upset, and she said, my daughter has diabetes and the clinic where I used to take my daughter has been closed. And so now I have to go across the town to get to a hospital to provide the service I need for my daughter. And she said, I've had trouble getting employment. And she said, because the clinic that we used to be able to walk to is closed, it now costs me about $15 to $16 to get to the doctor's office. And you know, we all are very blessed individuals, so I'm listening and I'm trying to have a real conversation with her. And I said, but ma'am, the health care that your daughter is now receiving at that hospital, Pastor, is far greater than the health care she would have received at the clinic, and you're getting a substantial discount. So the trip ought to be worth it. Let me tell you why the Urban League is so important. She looked me in my face and said, that sounds real good, Mayor, but what happens when you don't have the discount? What happens when you don't have the $15? Who is the folks? Who helps then? What the Urban League does is they get down where folks are, and they help you when you don't have the discount. So the brother who talked about the fact that he's 10 months out, did you look in his eyes and see his face and see the dignity that he had standing up here tonight? That's why the Urban League is so important. They want to help people that don't even have a discount. And I'm here to tell you, the city of Atlanta, while I'm here and even after I'm here, is going to be right by your side. Because what we are compelled to do when we are doing our best work is to grab people where they are and to accept them as they are and to improve them, to provide the blessings that we all experience every single day. Folks don't want special treatment or special privileges. Folks just want an equal shot. Nobody's in here asking for a guarantee of an equal outcome. And so here's what we're going to do at the city of Atlanta. What we're going to do in Atlanta is we're going to do more than we have ever done. If you look at tonight, the city of Atlanta runs through these stories. David Moody's contract at Underground Atlanta. The center that Dr. Warnock is building right on the campus of Ebenezer. What he didn't even talk about tonight was the Hope Center for Financial Literacy. Eduardo didn't talk about tonight the $400 million complex the UPS is building at the end of ML King with 1,250 jobs, where people will have a fair shot and a fair shake. What President Becker didn't talk about tonight was the fact that Georgia State is reclaiming a part of Atlanta that was made promises for decades and decades and decades, and because of him, they're going to get a fair shot and a fair shake. Y'all, Urban League's doing great work tonight. Get your checkbooks out. Write a bigger check. Let's do more, because more is needed. So in Atlanta, we're going to ban the box. In Atlanta, every employee already makes $10.10 an hour. I'm raising it to $13.15 an hour. In Atlanta, every woman who works in the city of Atlanta makes as much as a man makes. Because if you want to help society, you need to make sure that women get paid equal pay for equal work. Because that's how you improve the lives of boys, children, and little girls. You want to improve the economy, give women $1 on a dollar instead of 77 cents on the dollar. On Tuesday, we passed the biggest expansion of MARTA in 40 years. 40 years. That might seem like not a big deal to us, but to somebody that's trying to get from Clayton County to Buckhead, is not going to have to take 4 or 5 buses, but also going to be able to take 1 bus to the transit station, on the train to their job. It means everything, you all. So you all have given me what I call a Barnabas moment tonight. Sometime you come someplace and it's just a stop on your schedule, and you get there, and the most amazing things happen to your heart and to your mind. So I'm grateful for what you have given me tonight. And what I want you all to remember as you go forth, and after we listen to After 7, and I can't wait till they sing Ready or Not. I want everybody in this room Think about what the 35th President of the United States of America once said. When you see these stories, when you see the stories of these young men, we all need to look in the mirror and remember that our president once said, things don't happen, things are made to happen. Let's make them happen. God bless you.